All right, so we're going to go over 4.4, which is circles. Circles are look like this. Okay, a set of points around a curve. Your radius is half the distance across your circle, and 2 radius make up a diameter. So your formula would be 2 times r gives you diameter, or you could take diameter and divide it by 2. Your circumference is the area outside the circle, also known as your perimeter of the circle, and you can either do pi times the diameter, pi is 3.14, or 2 times pi times your r. All right, so let's say we want to find the missing quantities, and we have 2.7. Okay, so for some reason my PowerPoint's quit working. So you guys, I'm just going to follow along on the note sheet. You guys, these are the same problems that are on your PowerPoint. So just use your note sheets and follow along, and I'll just kind of work out some problems. So let's say you're given R is 2.7, and you want to find the diameter and the circumference, right? So what we would do is you would do 2 times 2.7 times pi, and that would give you the circumference, and you end up with like 5.4 pi. And then pi, you can just plug in your calculator. You have a pi on your calculator, or you could do 5.4 times 3.14, and you should end up with about 16.965 centimeters, and we can round that to 17 centimeters. Okay. All right, the next problem gives you the circumference is 22.8 feet. And you want to find R and D. So this time I'm going to do the one that says circumference equals pi times a d. And we don't know the diameter. And so all we have to do is divide by 3.14 if we want to get the diameter. And you end up with 7.26 feet. And then how do we get the radius from this? We divide this by 2, and so therefore the radius is going to be 3.63 feet. Okay. All right, so if we go back to your PowerPoint, next problem. A circular redwood hot tub has a diameter of 6 feet, allowing 3 inches for extra fastening. So your diameter is 6 feet, and you want to allow 3 inches for extra fastening. So the diameter is 6 feet plus 3 inches. So the first thing we have to do is find the circumference. So that's going to be pi times 6, and you end up with about 18.85. Okay, and this is feet. So the problem with this is we have to have the same unit. So what I'm going to do is this is actually 18 feet, and if you take 0.85 and multiply it by 12 inches, that will give you your inches. So you end up with 10.2 here, which is about 10 and 2/10, which is the same thing as 10 and 1/5. Okay. So then if we add 3 to that, this will be about 13 and 1/5 inches. So 18 feet, 13 1/5 inches. Okay. Okay, and next problem. 8 bolts are to be equally spaced around 9, radius of 9 inches. What must be the spacing between the centers of the bolts along the curve? So you think about a circle. You've got steel plates, 8 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, evenly spaced, right? And from here to here, the radius is 9 inches. So the first thing we do is find the circumference, because we're talking about the outside of this, right? So 2 pi r, so 2 pi times 9, and you end up with 56.55 inches. Now if we want to figure out how much space goes between these evenly 8, we end up dividing this by 8, and you'll get 7.069 inches. All right, next one. So area is the inside, is either a equals pi r squared, or you can do pi d squared divided by 4. So if you're given the diameter is 10, how do you find the area? Well, how do you find the radius? If we're using pi r squared, we just divide this by 2, right? So your radius is 5. So this would be 5 squared. 5 squared just means 5 times 5. And that would be 25 times pi. And that's going to be equal to 2.35 inches squared. This is the most important thing when you're dealing with area, is to make sure your units are squared. Okay, circumference, you don't do that. All right, let's take a look. If you have this one, this is just, you would do 18 squared times pi. But let's look at this one. So notice you have a circle. Here's a whole circle, right? And think about it cut into 4 slices. This is 4 of your pie, right? So if you're eating this much of your pie, how much are you eating? You're eating 3/4 of it. And the radius was 2.3, right? So you would do pi and then 2.3 squared, and you would multiply it by 3/4 to get your final answer. And so you should end up with about 12.46 millimeters squared. Okay, find the area of wood that must be stained to finish the top and the bottom of a circular table, 6 feet in diameter. And then we have to round it 3 significant digits. So circle, diameter 6 feet, and we're painting the top and bottom. So that means whatever the area is, we're going to have to end up multiplying it by 2, right? So pi r squared times 2, your radius would be 3. So this would be 9. So you end up with 9 pi times 2, and so that gives you 56.5 feet squared. Now they ask you to round it to 3 significant digits, so that's correct, okay? All right, find the area of stained glass using semicircle window of radius of 9 inches. So we're talking about a semicircle. So how much of a circle is this? Well, this is a half of a circle, right? So then, and the radius was 9. So we plug this in. I think it was 9, right? Yeah, 9 inches. So 9 squared times pi times a half. So that's 81 pi times a half. And so you should end up with 127.23, and it said round to significant digits, so it'll just be 127 inches squared. Okay, next thing. An annulus, this is called an annulus, and when you're trying to find the area of like a ring, you take the area of the big circle, which is the big R, subtract the area of the small circle. So it looks like this. Here's your formula, or you could just take your 2 radiuses squared and then multiply it by pi. So let's take a look at our first problem. Find the area of a washer with an outside radius of 7/16. So your big R is 7/16. And then we've got to find your, and it says it has a thickness of 1/18. So if you think about your circle, right? From here to here is 7/16, and from here to here is 1/8. So that means this part is 1/8. We need to know what this part is. So you take 7/16 minus 1/8 to get your small radius. And our common denominator would be 16, right? So we have to multiply it by 2. So that stays the same, so you end up with 5/16. So your little radius is 5/16. So we're going to do the formula, this formula. So we'll do 7/16 squared minus 5/16 squared times pi. And you should end up with about 0.295 inches squared. Find the cross-sectional area of the wall of a ceramic pipe whose inside diameter is 8 and whose outside diameter is 10. So inside diameter is 8, outside diameter is 10. So if we want big R, what would be the big R? It would be 5, and little r would be 4. So you do 5 squared minus 4 squared times pi. So that's 25 minus 16 times pi. So this will be 9 times pi. All right. And then you would end up with 28.27 inches squared. And we want about 3, so that would be 28.3 inches squared. All right, last problem. A pipe has an inside diameter of 8 inches. How much larger is the cross-sectional area with a 1/2 inch thick wall versus a 3/8 inch wall? Okay, so they said pipe has a diameter of 8. All right, so what if it has a 1/2 inch thick wall versus 3/8 inch? And we're comparing these pipes, okay? So this one, we know that the little r is 4 because it's half of this. And then think about the entire diameter. We need to know the length. So it's 8 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. Well, half plus half is 1, right? So 8 plus 1 is 9. So your big diameter is 9 and your little diameter was 8, right? So 1/2 of 9 is 4.5, right? 4.5, sorry about that. All right, so that would be the first one. So you would do 4.5 squared minus 4 squared times pi. All right, this one we have to add 8 plus 3/8 plus 3/8. That gives you what, 6/8. And that's 6/8 is the same thing as saying 0.75, so that's 8.75. Okay, and so that's your big diameter, right? So again, your little r would be 4, and if we divide this by 2, your big R would be 4.375. So we'll do 4.375 squared minus 4 squared times pi. So when you do both of these, you end up with, the first one's an area of 3.35, and the second one's an area about 9.866. So how much larger is this one than this one? Well, you have to subtract them. And you get about 3.49. And that's pretty much it. So make sure you guys practice the homework problems. If you have any questions, please contact me.